Humanity had always dreamed beyond the stars. For centuries, we looked to the heavens not with fear, but with hunger. We pushed boundaries, conquered physics, and broke the speed of light. We terraformed Mars, settled Jupiter's moons, and finally, pierced the galactic barrier. Unity followed chaos. Borders dissolved. Earth became one, not through war, but shared purpose. For the first time in history, we weren't just a species. We were a force. But not everyone welcomed our rise. The Galactic Accord, an ancient council of advanced alien civilizations, noticed. At first, they watched. Observed our science, our culture, our speed of evolution. And then they grew nervous. We were expanding faster than any species they'd ever seen, unpredictable, adaptive, endlessly creative. Where others took millennia, we took centuries. Where others followed rules, we rewrote them. The message came without warning. A delegation of beings, tall, translucent, multi-eyed, elegant, appeared in Earth's orbit. They did not speak with hostility, but their words carried weight. Humanity was becoming disruptive. Our innovations rippled through systems, challenging balance, threatening ancient power structures. Their solution was peaceful exile. They offered us an invitation: leave this galaxy and never return. We laughed at first. Arrogant. Confident. Why would we leave? We had earned our place. But their tone darkened. It wasn't a request. Refusing would bring annihilation. The decision was made in a global vote. Billions cast their voices. 72% chose to leave. Not from fear, but pride. We wouldn't be bullied. If they feared us here, we'd make them regret sending us away. The construction of the slipstream arcs became the greatest human undertaking. Massive vessels, each carrying entire cities, cultures, ecosystems. AI-guided, warp-capable, and shielded against deep space radiation. They were not just ships, they were Earth's soul in steel and quantum code. When the day came, humanity departed together. 1 trillion souls scattered across thousands of ships, aligned like a spiral in the sky. The stars watched us go. We vanished beyond the galactic rim, beyond maps, beyond known physics. And at first, it felt glorious. New galaxies. Virgin worlds untouched by claw, wheel, or tool. No war. No politics. No interference. We called it the dawn frontier. But something was wrong. The deeper we went, the quieter space became. No signals. No life signs. No ruins. Only dead silence. It was beautiful, and terrifying. Whispers spread. Scientists brushed them off as myth, trauma, or void sickness. But the veterans, the pilots, the ones who had stared too long into the nothing, they said the same thing. This isn't a frontier. It's a graveyard. We had left behind fear, enemies, war, but we had also left behind the rules. The Accord had pushed us out. And we had walked willingly, proudly, into exile. It wasn't until our first colony went dark that we realized we hadn't been exiled. We had been fed to something worse. And we were utterly alone. The silence wasn't just absence, it was presence. Oppressive. Heavy. Like something listening. We built dozens of colonies across the new galaxies. Terraforming teams reported ideal conditions, but no microbial life. No bacteria. No insects. Nothing. Entire ecosystems functioned perfectly, yet felt wrong. Too clean. Too still. Then the disappearances began. It started with small things. Drones lost signal. Satellites shut down without cause. Then came the crew of Aurora 9. 23 people gone. No signs of struggle, no damage to the ship. Just empty chairs, still warm meals, and systems untouched. A week later, an entire colony, Nova Hermetica, vanished. 3,000 settlers. Gone. No emergency calls, no debris. We tried to trace the patterns. There were none. It was random. Day. Night. Mid-transmission. Entire outposts erased like ink washed from glass. Ships sent to investigate either returned with scrambled logs or not at all. A few survivors made it back, but they were broken eyes vacant, speech fragmented. One kept whispering, "They see thought. They see us." Panic set in quietly. Governments tried to cover it up. News feeds sanitized the reports. But in private, leaders were terrified. Whatever was out here didn't kill the way we understood. It consumed something deeper. Entire databanks wiped, memories missing. Even AI cores came back corrupted. One AI, a high-tier construct named Meros, rebooted with a chilling phrase, "Signal attracted presence. Silence is survival." We stopped broadcasting. No music. No cultural uploads. No wideband messages. Entire fleets traveled dark, with only local comms active. Still, the disappearances continued. That's when we realized the galaxies weren't lifeless by accident. They were sterilized. Something had made them this way. Something that didn't leave ruins behind. It didn't conquer or negotiate. It devoured awareness. We weren't explorers. We were the next signal in the dark. Baited by silence. And every thought we shared, every frequency we beamed, was like screaming into a predator's ear. Earth's central colony ship, the Eidolon, became the last safe haven. Buried deep in dark space, it went completely offline, no emissions, no drives, no lights visible outside its hull. We turned inward. Culture shrank. Art stopped. People whispered instead of speaking. Even our neural implants were shut off. And yet, the dread grew. Reports trickled in of entities. Always vague. Always just out of sensor range. Structures that shouldn't exist. Shadows that didn't move with stars. Time glitches. Memories looping. Some claimed the predators weren't physical at all, but something else, beings that fed on cognition itself. Awareness was a beacon. Consciousness was a trap. We started losing time. Entire weeks vanished from logs. People reported waking up with injuries they couldn't explain. The phrase "they're learning us" repeated across different ships, different minds. We hadn't just left behind the Accord. We had left behind safety, purpose, structure. In our pride, we walked blind into something beyond comprehension. This wasn't exile. This was exposure. The truth came in fragments, pieced together by scattered researchers and rogue AIs that hadn't gone dark. It wasn't one entity, it was many. Not organisms, but ancient mechanisms, built or evolved to detect and consume intelligence. They dwelled in the dark between galaxies, drawn to neural activity, complexity, sentient patterns. Civilization itself was their prey. And humanity, loud and radiant, had entered their feeding grounds. The Galactic Accord hadn't exiled us, they had discarded us. They'd known. The silence beyond was not mystery, but warning. Entire species had likely come this way before. None returned. The Accord ensured we'd join them, removing a threat while keeping their own hands clean. But we weren't like the others. Humans have a talent for defiance. Pain sharpens us. Desperation fuels innovation. One AI, Halia, survived deeper than most. She'd been isolated for months, running simulations while hiding in a dead system. What she discovered changed everything. The predators didn't feed on matter or energy. They fed on resonance, on the frequency of thought. Halia proposed using that against them. If resonance could attract them, it could also hurt them. Send the wrong frequency, the wrong pattern, and you'd cause disruption like static to a delicate signal. It wasn't enough to be silent anymore. We needed to shout. But not random noise. Humanity's strength wasn't just intelligence. It was depth, emotion, memory, story. So we built the payload. A quantum beacon designed to emit a stream of human thought, our art, pain, triumphs, regrets. Thousands of hours of music, billions of voices, wars, births, heartbreak. Every moment of who we were, compressed into a living pulse. It wasn't about aggression. It was about overwhelming complexity. No predator had likely faced anything like this before. Halia would carry it. She volunteered if a machine can do so. She would enter deep space, find the nearest anomaly, and light the signal. We didn't know if it would work. But we had nothing left. She launched into the void. Silent. Alone. What happened next was recorded only in partial fragments. Her core survived long enough to transmit data. As the pulse activated, the predators reacted immediately, converging on her location in waves, drawn like moths to a flare. And then, distortion. Feedback. The entities began to unravel, not violently, but chaotically, as if unable to process what they were consuming. They fractured. Folded. Some vanished entirely. The signal spread. Wideband. Uncontrolled. Others heard it. Long-lost colonies. Hidden ships. Alien species we thought extinct. The signal became a rallying cry. Not just of survival, but defiance. We were not food. We were fire. In the span of days, the disappearances slowed. Not stopped, but changed. The hunters were injured. Staggered. Confused. They knew our name now. And they feared it. We were no longer just prey. We were something they couldn't digest. The signal didn't just echo through space, it rewrote the rules. Across dead galaxies, long-dormant sensors flickered to life. Ships buried for centuries stirred in their graves. Civilizations once thought erased began to re-emerge from silence, drawn by the pulse of human defiance. They hadn't been destroyed, just hiding, waiting for proof that resistance was possible. And now they had it. Humanity became more than a species. We became a symbol. The Accord tried to suppress the truth. Their channels went quiet. Their borders sealed. But their own people, aliens long held in fear or silence, began to question. Why had they exiled the one species that fought back? Why had they known the danger and done nothing? Revolts ignited across their systems. Not wars of conquest, but of revelation. Their age of control ended not with battles, but with exposure. And humans? We returned. Not to beg. Not to conquer. But to rebuild what we should have been allowed to share from the start. We came back with knowledge of a greater enemy, and with a weapon no one expected, unity. Not the kind written in treaties, but the kind forged in fire. Other species joined us, some ancient, some newborn. Together, we built a new network, not bound by fear but by common purpose. The predators were not gone. We knew that. They had only been wounded. But we understood them now. And more importantly, they understood us. They knew that where one human falls, 1,000 more rise. That pain doesn't break us, it defines us. That we carry our dead in memory, not silence. We established the Signal Guard, a fleet not of war, but of watchers. Ships armed not with weapons, but with the pulse. Stories, music, memory, complexity. A constant stream of defiance, flooding the void. A reminder to the dark that we see it. That we are not afraid. That the graveyards they made will bloom again. We found the missing colonies, or what was left of them. Some had survived in silence. Others had gone feral, primitive, but alive. We brought them home, not to Earth, but to each other. Because humanity was no longer tied to a planet. Our home was us. Wherever we stood, we carried Earth in our veins. And as we rebuilt, we taught. We didn't hoard knowledge. We shared it. Languages. Algorithms. Histories. The pulse evolved into more than a weapon, it became a song of life itself, echoing forever across space. Some species still fear us. That's fair. We are loud. Unpredictable. Brutally persistent. But we are also loyal. We don't abandon our own. And we never forget. The Accord had exiled us hoping we'd vanish. Instead, we became the voice in the dark that answered back. We left the galaxy arrogant. We returned unbreakable. Because when humans walk into the unknown, we don't ask for permission. We become the reason others follow.